moving and growing Anne Cate into Cleveland, it's kind of like a love letter to Cleveland of, opportunities that we could provide for people. It was a way to showcase that, hey, this city has supported this business. This is a way we can support the city. So we're really proud to be made in Cleveland. And yes, we're proud to be made in America, but Cleveland is in our product and in our backbone and in our blood. And I just can't wait to see what more we can do to this city and for the city, because the city has done so much for us.
Let's discover the Cleveland entrepreneurial ecosystem. We are telling the stories of its entrepreneurs and those supporting them. Welcome to the Lay of the Land podcast, where we are exploring what people are building in Cleveland. I am your host, Jeffrey Stern, and today I had the pleasure of speaking with Anne Skoch. Anne is the founder of Anne Cate, a made-in-America accessories brand and manufacturing firm specializing in skyline silhouette purses and pillows. A proud Kent State graduate and Clevelander, she has scaled her business from a sewing machine in her dorm room to a manufacturing studio, employing a team full-time to create success with their hands. More than just made in America, Anne Cate is made in Cleveland, where the production staff sews every single product. Anne Cate sells in over 150 small and large stores across the country, works with corporate clients such as Hulu and KeyBank, and distributes thousands of products monthly through their site, AnneCate.com. Anne's favorite part of her job is bringing joy to her customers through her products. To her customers, the products are more than just a purse or just a pillow. They tell a story that is unique to each person. With that, I loved learning about Anne's perspective on how to marry art and business and pursue your passion as a profession. So please enjoy my conversation with Anne Skoch. In prep for this conversation, I was thinking about where the best place to start would be. And where I would like to is I feel you've uncovered this productive overlap between art and business through the nature of the work that you're doing with Anne Cate and what you've built there. And so I'd love to start just kind of exploring those two worlds in where your interest in them kind of stemmed from.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because my hobby became my career, but I've also become passionate about business throughout all of this. So it's kind of been a ladder of art being the initial passion, and then becoming, a businesswoman, also becoming a passion. But truly, I love to create. And ever since I was a young girl, I was not a sports kid. I painted, I drew. I just always loved to bring things to life and had a creative element to everything I did in life. So much so that I would sell little creations I made at craft shows and to family and friends at a very young age. Random things like button rings and necklaces I beaded together. But at a young age, I learned, oh my gosh, I can make money from the things I created. And that was all about, I was all about that. And so I did that my whole youth, just continuously creating and selling and having a vision of building something for myself. So much so that I pursued fashion and entrepreneurship when it came time to study something in college, not really knowing what entrepreneurship even was. I knew I loved to create and I made money from things I created, but running a whole business, that was something that was just a foreign idea to me. So anyway, Anne Cate grew in college. Anne Cate was started and grew in college, and this whole idea of making money and making a life out of something I sewed myself was something I believed in, I guess I should say. It's something that I saw that it was something I could accomplish. So anyway, I spent my whole college career, I had this unique idea for Anne Cate of these purses and pillows with skylines on them that just was rooted in the places I loved and rooted in my passion for creating. And I saw money in that. I saw the emotional connection that could be monetized by all these places. And that's where my love for creating and my hobby truly became my full-time career. I made these pillows for my dorm room. That was just something fun for myself that people encouraged me to sell. And I realized that these places that impacted me also impacted other people, and people were not buying my products because they're cute or they're stylish. They're buying them because there's a major emotional connection with them. So once that clicked, I spent every other waking second of my college career working to take my art and turn it into a business. I think the ability to know, that I wanted to do that led me to a lot more success that maybe some artists don't have. I was driven and I knew this needed to be monetized. But with that being said, I put myself into situations that ensured that I could get my product out there and then manage the product, which led me to manage the business. As an artist initially, even now, 6 years later, it's very challenging being a boss. Oh my gosh, the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But I had those goals right off the bat when I started Anne Cate of growing this into something bigger than just a little hobby. And that is how I tied, the creativity with the business end. That initial goal up front was that I'm going to make this my career, whether it's right away or whether it's in 20 years. And I was lucky enough to have enough momentum upon graduation to continue pursuing it. And that was 4 years ago. I graduated, and now I have a full-time staff and allowing others to also be creative within the business now.
You mentioned the moment where, maybe you realized that the art that resonated and was important to you perhaps resonated with other people. What did it take to understand that you building art for yourself as a customer almost, mm-hmm. that do you view yourself as kind of the consumer of the product?
That is such a funny question because I always thought that I was obsessed with my product when I created it. Like, it was so fun and so representative of me. But at the end of the day, I am not our customer. I am more of our end user. So what that means is our product is a major gift product. So people are purchasing a Cleveland pillow for someone who moved away from home, or New York City purse for someone who's dreaming of moving to the city. They're purchasing it and giving them as gifts. We always say it's the perfect gift for the gift for the person who has everything. And so with time, I realized my generation is not my customer, but they're the ones receiving it. So my customer is the moms, the aunts, the grandmas, the friends, the family friends that are purchasing it in an accessible, affordable gift that's unique, and gifting it to someone a little younger, like myself, who is having these major life moments or changes, or moving to a new city or getting a new job. So I find that people in my generation, they absolutely use the product and are humbled and tickled by the product, but they're not the ones buying it. It's an older generation. So that's been an interesting take with our marketing, was how to cater to both of these, right? Like, how do we get the end user to understand what Anne Cate is, to appreciate and know what our background is, and how we then market to the older generation that is buying our product. So it's been a unique experience. But at the end of the day, I'm really proud that both many different women and many different generations can enjoy our product, both by purchasing it and by using it.
As you were piecing together what the company itself would become, it sounded like it was a gradual process, this transition from hobby to business. But was there a particular point, a revelation, something that happened that had you thinking that you should take it seriously and build a company out of it?
Yes, truly. I totally had a moment where I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I don't care what's going to stop me. I'm going to do it. So like I had said, I have been creative and been selling product since I was very young. Got on Etsy when Etsy just started. So that was a unique opportunity. And I love to monetize the things I created. But I also love that people like where they were impacted by a product. It made them feel excited, or I love that just emotion that provoked, whether it was a little purse that I handmade or a product with a city skyline on it. I value the connection we made with our customers. So anyway, when I had this skyline product idea, I had gotten it on my Etsy store, and I was, I believed in it. I didn't really quite know where it was going to go. Was of course working several jobs and being a college student, a 19-year-old, but believed in it. So got it online and started sharing it and running through this product. At that time, we had only 3 skylines that I designed in Illustrator, and was still figuring out our product line. And, it was a true hobby. And yeah, within a few months of putting that on Etsy, I received a message from a buyer at American Greetings, and they were interested in picking up our product. And oh my gosh, it was like, this is crazy. Like, what? Like, what is wholesale? I can't sew a big order. I was sewing it all in my dorm room, but we did get the order, and it was wholesaled to the flagship store in Crocker Park. And from that moment on, I decided I'm going to spend every minute working on Anne Cate. I'm going to use every resource I can at Kent State. I'm going to connect with individuals, and I'm going to work hard to grow this business because other people are starting to believe in it as well. So from that moment on, I did. And, I had an amazing experiences throughout my college education. I was featured on national news segments. I won over $20,000 of pitch competitions. I immersed myself in every opportunity, and it got us where we are today. But it all was from that little message from American Greetings, and it changed my life. And I'm so forever grateful to have had that.
That's incredible. And from there, it's the crash course in business.
Right. And a crash course meaning lots of mistakes are made.
So how did you go about learning how to take what was a hobby into something, like how did you actually fulfill that order, right? Like,
right.
The manufacturing at scale and all these other components.
Oh gosh, scaling this business has been the hardest thing we've done, but the most rewarding too. We have been a business that has pretty much been bootstrapped along the way. I threw $1,000 into a bank account when I started Anne Cate, and we have just kind of watched that grow. But what's most significant is I was sewing everything in my dorm room, just myself, no way of growth of how I could get past this business of me in a little dorm room to a full scale manufacturing studio or outsourcing. Right. That was very hard, and especially hard for someone in their, in college to figure out. So I definitely immersed myself in my network, experimented a lot of different avenues of how to take this business to the next level. In the meantime, I sewed everything. I would be up late at night. I would be up early. I would get several hours of sleep maximum a night, and I would just be creating because that's what I had to do, and I wanted to. But from there, upon growing, upon graduation and figuring out how to take the business to the next level, I figured there were 2 routes to go. I open up and become my own manufacturing studio or manufacturer, and I keep sewing myself and eventually hire people, or I outsource. But staying domestic was really important to me, and of course, it's expensive. So looked into samples made all across the states, and tried to replicate our product with other manufacturers, but no one could make it the way we could, or I could, and at that time. So I decided I'm going to open up a manufacturing studio, a place of work where people can come and produce our product at a larger scale. But that leap from dorm room to manufacturing studio was very challenging. It was, okay, I have to hire, I have operating expenses, I have rent now, I have to buy equipment. How do I do this? So, we spent some time, we took some of my pitch winnings and we slowly started building a manufacturing studio. And from there, several months later, I hired my first staff and I've had several employees since then, but we have become more than just a brand. Our true identity is a manufacturer. So it takes that vision of that girl in a dorm room and brings it to a major scale. So now we have a full functioning manufacturing studio, full-time staff in production that are making our products, fulfilling our products, and truly, bringing made in America product into Cleveland here, or being truly made in Cleveland. So, it was a hard journey and an expensive one of how am I going to bring this business to scale, but something we did successfully. And there's several reasons for that. The main one being our products are not a luxury item. They are a $10 bag, a $20 bag, and they are made within 1 minute. So we have the ability, because of how quickly they're made, to sell our products at an affordable price with the knowledge to our customers that, it's going to be unlined. It's going to be very simple, no pockets, not very technical. So with that being said, because we can make a product a minute, kept our costs really low, and we can pay our employees at a livable wage because of that time frame. So it was a unique way to build our manufacturing, but the ability to be a manufacturer has kept our inventory costs very low. Most of our products are made to order, and it has allowed us a whole different avenue of revenue now. So we're manufacturing products that are not Skyline products for brands all around the country. And those are just opportunities that just come by networking and just growing Anne Cate as a manufacturer. So we're making bags for conventions. We're making pillows for the offices of Hulu. We have a whole different aspect of our business that is not just the Skyline product that we have been able to grow because I took that leap from a dorm room to open up our own manufacturing studio.
And how now do you think about the breakdown, I guess, between your own creative output and what you're putting out of the company for Anne Cate and what you're bringing in from others?
In terms of creativity, it's hard. It's something I have stepped away from more than not. And was my favorite part about running my business is the outlet of creativity. But of course, there's lack of time for that more now because I'm juggling so many other parts. But, Anne Cate, something we did was we were really strong with our branding, and it allows me to be creative on a marketing standpoint and with niche customers that come along. So that's kind of where I pour my energy into. But I'm lucky now. We have a lead designer who works for us and brings to the table new seasonal products, product upgrades, things that I really didn't have the bandwidth for at the point when we were really scaling the business. So that's been really wonderful to, have someone come on that understands the brand and can now take a piece of that creativity. Almost, it became a burden off of me, and bring new ideas to life that I would not have been able to accomplish because I was burnt out or working on something else. So I definitely like to keep the creative aspects with me always, and I'm still a decision maker on that part, but creating and training a team that can also aid in that has been very valuable, and I'm forever grateful to have that aspect in our team.
You mentioned the strength of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, what do you mean? Like, what is a good brand, mm-hmm. and how did you curate your own?
Yes, so our branding is really important to Anne Cate, and that was something when I was 19. I'm like, I'm gonna create the brand first before I had this product, but I'm like, I believe in the power of a good brand, and truly it's paid off. 75% of our marketing is just word of mouth, and that's through branding. So, on a On a physical level, our packaging, we have branded boxes that say Anne Cate. It's very simple and classic and black, white, touches of pink. People can say, oh, you're very on brand, with them not even really knowing like, what does that mean? But they can see it. But also, it's not just the packaging, it's the experience our customers receive through our marketing, through our website, through the shopping experience, both from online to then receiving a package. All of that has been really important for us to curate. And truly, I just made it really simple. I wanted it to be simple but meaningful. And so that's kind of how I've, created what I wanted Anne Cate to be. I wanted our products to be simple and meaningful, and they are. So I took what the product holds, the stories, and just added a flair of classic and timelessness to our packaging and our branding that has then carried through in our marketing efforts, in our website, and even in myself. Like my middle name's Catherine. I am Anne Cate, but so many times people come up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can tell you're Anne Cate just from the way you're dressed." And I'm so much of the brand as well that it has created this whole experience, which is really wonderful for our customers. So much so that then they go and tell other people about it, which has been very valuable. We've kind of branded this. When you see an Anne Cate or someone asks you about your bag and they say, "Where did you get it?" They go, "Oh, it's an Anne Cate." And that alone, it makes me so happy because it tells me that our branding has been successful and that people, are proud to be carrying our product and they are proud to be representing our brand. So it was something that I decided early on that was going to be really valuable to our business, and it's paid off. So, in a retail-faced business, you need to have strong branding, and I'm grateful that we do.
I think that is the strongest representation of people being supportive and advocates of the brand is them recommending it to someone else.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
This maybe then is almost like a meta question, but has the brand evolved at all from when you started it in, I don't know, as a reflection of your own development?
Of course. Yes, absolutely. I without a doubt, our brand has evolved, but at the end of the day, we are selling the same product that we were 6 years ago. It's just a lot better. And our brand is a lot better. But yes, absolutely. Our aesthetic, the basics of our brand are carry through today. But over the last 6 years, not only has our website been developed much greater, our customer experience, our marketing has grown, but our product itself has transformed. Oh my gosh, if you saw for the first product we ever made, it was nothing like our product now. Our product is much greater quality. It's going to last a lot longer. It just is, it's a beautiful product. But back when I started, it was a simple, small, thin piece of fabric sewn on, into a bag. But what's amazing is even then, 6 years ago, the product that we were selling that was very much less quality than what we're selling now, people still bought it. And I kind of love that our product has meant something to people when it was poor quality to what it is now. Of course, I'm sure the quality has helped our sales process, but the idea is still there, and I love that it was impacting people then and it is now. So, that itself in this whole last 6 years has been really wonderful and it warms my heart. We have the best customers in the world because they've been supporting us since day one. But, I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. Running a business, this business has grown a lot just because I've grown a lot. And, I'm excited to see where we can go in the next 5 years because of just the things that I've learned and I still have potential to learn. The decision to pursue the business right out of college was really hard. I had a lot of people who encouraged me and we had funding. So there was opportunities. I was living at home. I didn't have loans. It all was the perfect storm. But I really felt strongly that I didn't have work and real world experience. And so I was scared, but I decided to take the leap and kind of learn along the way, and then absolutely use my network to help me. And so, seeing myself then and now, I've learned a lot and made so many mistakes, thousands of dollars of worth of errors, but I am very proud of what we have done in 6 years and excited to see how I will grow in the next 5 to 6 years of the business as I'm learning along the way. So it's been a whirlwind, but I'm lucky and grateful for understanding employees who are patient with me when I need to make decisions and I don't know how to be the best boss. I'm grateful for vendors who I make mistakes with, everything and anything. But at the end of the day, it's all been worth it.
I would love to get to some of the learnings and reflections you have in retrospect and what is exciting you about the future. But just in the present state, all the brand and marketing, kind of manifests in customers and distribution. And I'd love to understand, what it looks like today, and how the distribution side of it has evolved over time.
Yes. So when Anne Cate started, it again, like I said, we were in a little dorm room. I was selling on Etsy. It was a whirlwind. We sell directly on our website, annecate.com. And that's about 50% of our business. We are only an online retailer. We do not have a retail store. And that's by strategy. We just have grown our presence through national PR online, and it keeps our overhead low in terms of having retail space and inventory, et cetera. But then on top of that, the other half of our business is wholesale. And within that wholesale sector, it includes corporate clients and then retailers around the country. So we sell in about 200 stores around the country. And what that means is we sell a store a batch of product, and then they resell it for double or more the price. So we're selling to clients like uncommongoods.com, Wayfair, the Art Institute of Chicago, small clients, big clients, everything in between. We work with corporate clients like New York Life and Hulu and KeyBank to give our products a platform and to distribute for other events, a whole different variety of things. So we, it's amazing to see my little Etsy store turn into a national business. This wholesale sector was not something I necessarily knew much about when I started the business, but it's something we've capitalized on because there are many, many more opportunities to become more national quicker by allowing other retailers to sell your product. Plus, I love we have great relationships. It's a big relationship-based industry, and it's been wonderful to meet and connect with stores that sell our product because it's a lot of times small businesses helping small businesses, and there's both success from both ends. So that's kind of, that's been a whole new aspect of our business over the last few years to grow is our wholesale channels. But everything is made to order essentially at our Anne Cate manufacturing studio. So once we get an order, then we process it. Then it goes through production. Sometimes it can take up to 3 weeks, but our clients are aware of that. It has allowed us to provide a lot of opportunities for individuals on a more consistent basis. Of course, there's busier times of year, the holidays, 50% of our business comes from the holiday season, but we have developed a strong enough client base now that we can provide full-time jobs year round that this distribution more nationally has allowed us to.
The follow-up, the one that comes to mind with what you've just talked about is how do you think about competition and like differentiation? And part of it I imagine is the brand, but I imagine it's a highly competitive space.
A product-based industry is hard versus service or software. But, we have a few niches that we've capitalized on. And I'm excited because we have, in my eyes, barely met like 1% of our customer base. So much of our growth has been organic and what I could handle, as I've been sewing and as then my staff can sew and produce. we can only handle so much growth at a time anyway, as we are, developing and growing this brand. But yeah, we compete on many different levels, but we have our niches to make us strong. On one side, we can compete with other small business on a general level. On another level, we can compete with people making other city-based product, cheese boards with skylines on it, city t-shirts. Those can be considered competitors. On a specific level, yes, there are other products that have skylines on them. But at the end of the day, I found a really big niche within the fact that we are an accessories brand. You're not really going to find a purse that has a city skyline on it. And if you do, it's nothing like ours. So that off the bat, there was really nothing in that industry or in that, that retail category. On top of that, we are made in America, we are women owned, and we are very affordable. So those niches on top of a product that means something, that's our meta, our big competition is products that mean something. Homesick candles, that's a competitor. There's a million other products that try to capture that sense of home or that sense of a city. But, the fact that our products are truly made here and they're affordable has been a huge asset to keeping Anne Cate relevant and keeping Anne Cate just on the map in terms of the gift industry. At the end of the day, our products are unique. They're eye-catching, and it's not hard to sell our product once it's in front of a customer. Oftentimes that's why our word of mouth marketing is so strong, is because it's so different. It captures the eye. So, competition's hard. At the end of the day, we of course always try to stay on top of unique ways to stay on top of our product, but price point and our background of our brand has been important to that.
It's hard to do justice through this medium of audio to something visual. So we'll definitely link
Absolutely.
ways to see it.
Yes. You can find us on Instagram. We are at Anne Cate, and it's Anne with an E and Cate with a C. So ANNECATE. And that's our website too, AnneCate.com.
So you mentioned the next 5 years and how exciting it is for you. So, I'd love for you to unpack that. What about it is exciting? Where do you see the opportunity for growth? And just kind of take us through what that looks like.
Yes, the next 5 years, everything is always exciting when it comes to growth, but it's daunting too. It's scary. Right now we're like treading a weird place of, all right, we're at like $250,000 in revenue last year. How do I take that and become $1 million business in a year? We're having a lot of growing pains, and it's something I'm, kind of been having to integrate strategy more into the business. Before it was like, okay, our products just sell itself, kind of, So that has been, taking this business to the next level as a 26-year-old. It has been hard, but long-term goals, something we've just started doing over the last 2 years was developing other product that was not Skyline product. Clear bags, belt bags, summer holiday and summer collections, seasonal collections, products that are affordable and still unique, that are eye-capturing, that still provoke emotion, whether it's, it doesn't have to be a Skyline, but a design that says, wow, that's so unique, or I love that. I need to, have that coordinating to my outfit. So we started developing very, very minimally other product lines, and it proved to be very successful. We had a built-up customer base, and they ate it up. They began shopping other products. But at the end of the day, our customers are still coming to our website for a Skyline product, and then they're shopping our other products. So it's kind of like a secondary conversion. But that's our end goal, is to continue to grow Anne Cate to be this affordable accessories brand within the gift industry that creates unique designs that mean something to our customers. So on a very broad level, that's our goal. But in the next year or two, we're going to start really ramping up production. We're beginning to secure more PR nationally. I want to, take that 200 stores and become 500 stores. I want to grow in the corporate gift industry. I really want to continuously getting our product out there on a more national level. I have a staff of 4 right now, and I'm looking to continuously double that or, triple that. But it's been a stepping stone process of we have to secure more accounts and more business before we hire more manufacturing, but we have to make sure we have a strong manufacturing team before we get more orders. So navigating that has been really hard, but I believe in Anne Cate, and I believe in our ability to create success with our hands through our manufacturing and change the world one person at a time. But at the end of the day, I love that our products are more than just a purse or a pillow. They tell a story for our customers. They mean something, and that's the continuous goal of Anne Cate.
As you try to navigate the growth, I'm curious, how much of it is you working through these challenges on your own, trial by fire? Where do you see counsel and mentorship? How do you try and navigate those?
Yes. Well, talking back to how much has the brand grown versus I've grown. Oh my gosh, like 6 years ago, always like every stressor that come up, I felt like I could not handle it. And I've definitely toughened up and been able to become a lot stronger in terms of decision making and issues that arise. But in terms of my network, I'm really grateful because I immersed myself when I was in college at Kent. I have a really strong network, an alumni network that I still stay in touch with. So primarily, I definitely use that network to advise, to reach out when errors come up, to just have to aid and to learn from. But other resources, the best other resource that I use is the Cleveland community, especially the small business ecosystem and the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Chances are the mistake you made, someone else also made, and they figured out how to get through it 10 times better than you did. So I've been really lucky to connect with not only my clients, businesses selling my product, but also other colleagues and friends in just running their businesses or working hard for themselves to throw ideas off of, to learn from, to connect with. That has been really rewarding and has aided in our growth. And it helps me when I'm in a really burnt out phase of running the business or exhausted and can't think out of the box. It helps me get past that and spark new ideas to grow to this next level that I have reached and will reach continuously.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was as you've grown and your responsibilities have shifted, a little bit away from the actual maybe creative part of the process, and where we started talking about that intersect between art and business. Has like pursuing your passion as a profession, has it soured it at all? Or, how do you feel about it?
That's a great question. And it is not the easiest thing to have your hobby and your passion become your full-time job. And not only like a full-time job that you're working 40 hours a week, right? Like you're eat, sleep, breathe this business like 80-hour weeks,
Right.
So it's not just like, oh, I'm doing my hobby like full time. It's like, I am only doing this.
Right.
So yeah, it's really great, but it's also really hard. And even I tell my staff this, I'm running my dream job. I love what I do. It's been a rewarding and fulfilling to, like I say, create success with my hands on a sewing machine. But at the end of the day, working, there are days I don't want to come to work, right? Like working still is hard. So, yes, I am very fulfilled. I love my career and my hobby that became my career. But yeah, it took me a while, the first few years of doing it full time, to find other ways to other outlets, because yes, my hobby was kind of stripped of me in terms of something I could use as an outlet. But it's still something I love, this whole creating, the sewing. But I've had to find other outlets to decompress and to allow myself to step away from work. So yeah, it's, it's hard. I wouldn't change what I do and wouldn't change taking my hobby and turning it into a career. But yeah, it soured my love for creating. I just have had to find other outlets and and sometimes I'm still looking for them. Sometimes it's like, all right, sometimes I just have to go home and like do nothing, like, and watch Netflix. Like that's an outlet. It's not a hobby, but it's had to be unique, and it's definitely something I'm still kind of finding what else I can do besides my, the hobby that I created and the work. But, I wouldn't change it for anything, but yeah, it's definitely soured the love.
Well, in reflection, what have been some of the kind of learnings and takeaways you've had from this whole process?
Yes, I failing was something that was not easy up front, especially like the first year I full-time ran the business. We sold $100,000 and I didn't have a profit at the end of the year. And that was, things I was like, wow, this really sucks. But anyway, just so I've learned to, over the last few years of making a lot of mistakes and failing, learn to really take those and take them as good things. So there's been a lot that's been learned, and I'm a lot stronger throughout this whole process. But gosh, there's been a million things that I've learned. I think I struggled. I know I struggled a lot because I was young. A lot of people did not take me seriously my first few years of 22, 23 running a business. They weren't really willing to take a risk on me. That was a challenge. I have learned how to definitely manage stress a lot better, how to be a boss. That is something like, oh my gosh, and never as a creative person, never knew how I was going to figure that out, how to hire employees older than me, how to fire employees, lots of learning experiences there. And then learning, being a manufacturer, how do I, especially as a woman in manufacturing, how do I do that? That was hard, but a lot of networking and speaking to other people in the industry aided that growth. But there's been challenges. COVID came along. Supply chain management was a nightmare. Costs now are through the roof. How do I raise my prices and tell my clients and do it yet again? 6 months later, the prices are still going through the roof. Navigating all of that has been challenging, but now, I feel like it's not how am I going to get through this? It's all right, let me digest this, whatever it is that comes around, and let me figure out how to move past it right away and make a decision and stay true to that decision and keep pushing forward. That's kind of how I've dealt with, experiences that come up that, are not ideal, like packages worth $10,000 getting stolen and in the middle of shipments and things like that. We just roll with it. It won't be the first and it won't be the last. And definitely having outlets of family and friends to express the stressors, the successes and the downfalls has been an asset to me personally and on a business level.
Knowing what you know now, right? This new wisdom. Are there things that, in retrospect, you would have done differently?
Oh, yes. In the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't change my path and how I got here. Like I said, I've learned from my mistakes and they have made me so much stronger, and Anne Cate has grown because of those mistakes. But yeah, would I have not spent, $5,000 on this marketing effort, or would I have not, hired this person? There are things that came along that I would change, or mistakes that I would love to go back and not relive. But in the grand scheme of things, the path that got me here, I wouldn't want to change it. We grew through a lot of trial and error, and I'm grateful for that.
Are there any important parts of the business, of your journey here that we haven't touched on yet that you would like to share?
I love what is so important to Anne Cate is that we're creating our product, yes, But we're creating a product that represents, a bigger thing. And that thing can be different for each person. It's a story, it's a memory, it's a moment, a place in time. And I think that's the best thing about running the business is that, there's a little background and a little different story for every single person. That's been very rewarding for Anne Cate. And for me, it makes it really fulfilling to hear people's stories of why they're buying our product. And as silly as it may be, it really is heartwarming. But alternatively, Cleveland is at our backbone. Gosh, we could not run this business literally without Cleveland, because Cleveland, our product is not only represented, or the city is not only represented in the product with the literal skyline on our product, but it is the reason why, Anne Cate grew. It started with Cleveland, it represented Cleveland, and the customers, they came through to showcase their love for the city. And that has only grown and multiplied then now to other cities and to places around the country and world. So I'm really, moving and growing Anne Cate into Cleveland. It's kind of like a love letter to Cleveland of, communities that we could provide for people. It was a way to showcase that, hey, this city has supported this business. This is a way we can support the city. So we're really proud to be made in Cleveland. And yes, we're proud to be made in America, but Cleveland is in our product and in our backbone and in our blood. And I just can't wait to see what more we can do to this city and for the city, because the city has done so much for us.
Yeah, Cleveland is the reason, as Kid Cudi would say.
Oh, yes.
Well, I think that's a good place to segue into our closing question for everyone on the show, which is about Cleveland, and it is for your favorite hidden gems in the city.
I love it. Well, there's so many. My fiance and I are in Tremont right now, and I just love everything about the city, especially the neighborhood. But my favorite gem in terms of food is a true hole-in-the-wall Italian place called Bruno's Restaurant. It is on West 44th near Clark Fulton neighborhood, and it is the best Italian food you will ever eat. So that's my favorite place for food. But if you're looking for some good drinks, the Literary Tavern in Tremont is just to die for. Great neighborhood spot, a true hidden gem. People always look for a good cocktail bar, and we have wonderful ones in Cleveland, but the Literary Tavern is the best.
Awesome. Well, Anne, thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your story.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be a part of this. Cleveland is amazing, and there are so many opportunities, and I'm lucky to be running our business here. It's been a whirlwind, and I wouldn't change any second of it, and I wouldn't be anywhere else running my business. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. If folks have anything they wanted to follow up with you about, what would be the best way for them to do so?
Absolutely. Anyone can email me at Anne, ANNE, @AnneCate.com. So happy to connect with people and would love to connect on anything.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's show. So if you have any feedback, please send over an email to jeffrey@layoftheland.fm or find us on Twitter @podlayoftheland or @sternjefe, JEFE. If you or someone you know would make a good guest for our show, please reach out as well and let us know. And if you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes or on your preferred podcast player. Your support goes a long way to help us spread the word and continue to bring the Cleveland founders and builders we love having on the show. We'll be back here next week at the same time to map more of the land. The Lay of the Land podcast was developed in collaboration with the Up Company, LLC. At the time of this recording, unless otherwise indicated, we do not own equity or other financial interests in the company which appear on this show. All opinions expressed by podcast participants are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of any entity which employs us. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.